Hey guys, I'm back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream. How are we all doing on this Monday afternoon? I hope we're all doing well, people. I hope we're all good. Let me know where you're watching from today. Like always with these videos, hit the like button, subscribe if you're new. Both things will always and probably be greatly appreciated. And of course, get involved in the chat. Would love to hear from you all on what you're all up to today. Let me know if you're doing well first and foremost, but let me also know what you're up to today, how you are starting off your brand new week. Are you at work? Are you at home today? Are you out and about? What are you up to today? How are you doing? And anything along those lines, get involved, as well as obviously some football chat, because that's after all why we are here, people. We're after some football chat most of all, but of course, I'd love to hear where you're watching from, where you're at, what you're doing, all of that kind of good stuff. I'm sure it'll make for great and interesting reading in the chat. But we're talking football. Mainly, we are talking football. And the main thing of today's video, it's a reality check time. We're doing another reality check show. We're talking about Liverpool's huge reality check in their loss to Crystal Palace. We're talking about Arsenal. A lot of talk about mentality this past week, especially from yours truly. But did they manage to pass a big test against Newcastle at St. James's Park yesterday in their incredible comeback within the final 10 to 12, 13 minutes or so of their game yesterday? We'll be talking about that. And we'll also be talking about the big news regarding Manchester United. Ruben Amorim under huge amounts of pressure. But could a certain former Barcelona manager, a Barcelona legend, a footballing legend, be about to take over at Manchester United as his potential successor in, of course, the former Spanish maestro, Xavi? Could he be about to take the reins at Manchester United? If reports are to be believed, then he is said to be very interested in potentially doing exactly that. But let me know where you're watching from today. Let me know how you're doing, and let me know what you're up to on this Monday afternoon. I hope we're all doing well, people. We're going to be here for the next hour to maybe an hour and a half, talking all things football. And look, there's only one place to start. There's only one place to start, and that is with Liverpool. My club. Disaster of a weekend. It looked like we may have gotten away with it for about 83, 84 minutes of the Arsenal game yesterday. And then Newcastle went and bowled it. Newcastle went and bottled it. Nick Pope in particular bottled it. And we will get on with Arsenal against Newcastle a little later. But no, Newcastle slightly let us down yesterday, but overall, we let ourselves down across the weekend massively. There is no excuses for that kind of poor performance that we put in against Crystal Palace, and fair play to Crystal Palace for, you know, I know that a lot of it was the makers of our own downfall a little bit, but as well as that, you can complement that with the fact that Crystal Palace were amazing and made us look even worse than what we actually performed on the day. But again, for Liverpool, it comes down to individual errors, individual mistakes. Ibrahim Konate in particular, dreadful. Conor Bradley, probably the poorest game that I've seen from him in a Liverpool shirt. Midfield, pretty much non-existent. Isak, Salah, not at the races. Isak missed a very good opportunity in the second half. Salah was virtually a ghost. It was a dreadful, dreadful performance. But above all, it was mainly down to the tactical, I guess you call it, galaxy brain of Arne Slot, who completely overthought this match. He thought packing out the midfield would help, and it did not help. He thought the extra man in midfield would benefit Liverpool, and it didn't. We looked better in the second half, especially when we reverted back to our more normal and usual formation, bringing on Cody Gakpo for the left wing, moving Florian Wirtz into the middle. It looked better. Not that it could have looked any worse than what it did in the first half, but it looked better. But it really did cost us that first half. And the only thing, like I said in my reaction to the game, was that the only thing you could hold against Palace was that they weren't out of sight in the first half. And that was for a little bit of combination of a little bit of luck being on Liverpool's side, Palace striking the post on a couple of occasions, and above all, Alisson Becker being the best goalkeeper in the world. That is what Alisson Becker is to me, man. That is what he is to me. He is absolutely outstanding, is Alisson Becker. Nobody does it better, in my opinion. Nobody does it better than Alisson freaking Becker. And we got fortunate. We really, really did. We got very, very fortunate. Big up, Jay. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Lovely to have you here with us, my friend. I hope you're doing good, my friend. Let me know where you're watching from today. Let me know what you're up to today. And let me know, above all, what you made of the Liverpool game at the weekend, my bro. Lovely to have you on board with us this afternoon. So, yeah, Arne Slot overthought it. Our players didn't execute it. The only one that can really hold their head up high is Alisson Becker. The fact that we even got to the 90th minute with an opportunity and a big, big chance of actually winning the game was extraordinary in itself. Chiesa comes off the bench. He scores the equalising goal. We could have had a goal before then. Florian Wirtz had a golden opportunity to score and open his Liverpool account. Didn't happen. Good save from Dean Henderson to deny Ryan Gravenberch as well in the first half. And Isak had a good opportunity as well. Could argue it might have been a penalty in there, but at the end of the day, I don't think that changes too much the reflection of the entirety of the game. We were just poor. We were just very, very poor overall. Not happy at all. Not happy at all. And even when you get the equalising goal, you think, okay, we'll take the point. The Palace was always going to be a tough game going into it. Of course it was. Palace are very, very good. They're a very, very good team. They're on a very good unbeaten run right now. We knew it was going to be difficult. We knew it was going to be tough. I would have snapped your hand off if you'd offered me a point at the beginning of the game. And then again, our defence went back to factory settings. Can't defend from set pieces. Can't defend from long throws. And we end up losing the game in the 96th, 97th minute or whatever it was to, of all people, Eddie Nketiah. Of all the people that Palace had on the pitch, whether it be at the beginning of the game or at the end of the game, of all the people that they had, Eddie Nketiah, really? Really? I didn't like that. I didn't like that at all. I wouldn't have minded if it had been anybody else, but Eddie Nketiah, just abysmal. Just absolutely abysmal. Shocking defending. Once again, revert back to factory settings on the defence. Our attack had an off day in front of goal. And it was just an awful, awful day at the office. I'm hoping for better. I'm hoping that this is the kick up the backside that we need. I'm hoping that this is the reality check that we need because, you know, we'll admit it. We've been coasting these past several weeks. We've been getting the results. Fantastic. But the Atletico game was probably the only game where I could say throughout the entirety of the game we were dominant, we were in control. The scoreline just flattered Atletico a little bit. In the same way, by the way, that the scoreline in this one, 2-1 to Palace, flattered us greatly. It flattered us absolutely greatly. And, we deserved to lose this game by more. It wasn't like it was a smash and grab from Palace. They absolutely dominated us, battered us from start to finish. Second half, like I said, we were a little better, but the damage was already pretty much done in the first half. And then we couldn't make it count in the second. Like I say, we were fortunate that we didn't lose by more. We were very, very fortunate we didn't lose by more. Probably should have done. And in the end, we've had a shockingly bad weekend. Even more made to rue this missed opportunity because Arsenal won, City won. It's not been a great weekend at all for Liverpool Football Club. But the only couple of upsides that I can say on this result is that A, Alisson Becker is incredible. B, well, three actually. There's three good points. B, Federico Chiesa scores again. And C, we get another difficult away game out of the way and done with. We don't have to go back to Selhurst Park for another season. So they are the good points to this, because Palace seem to be a bit of a bogey side for us right now. It's so awkward to play against them. So we at least get that out the way and done with for another year. That is the only kind of good points that I can take from this game, in all honesty. The game against Palace was allowing the opposition to bully us to win. If Kirkaz just booted the ball down the pitch instead of a throw-in, then a point would have been okay. You can argue that. You can argue the point that led to their main attack, or their final attack for the goal. I argue we should have just defended it better in the first place. I argue that we just should have defended the throw-in better in the first place. Like, it was awful defending. Like, to say that the past few games defending has actually been pretty decent from us, even in the Everton game, like, apart from the goal that Everton scored, I wasn't really threatened by Everton whatsoever. Against Atletico, again, the defending was solid. They had a goal that should have been ruled out for offside. They had a goal that took a fortunate and wicked deflection. Apart from that, though, they had nothing going for them. It was just one of those kind of freak results that ended up going in Atletico's favour. Arsenal and Burnley were defended impeccably. And then all of a sudden, in this one, we just got too casual, too laid back, and our defence just went, right, well, this is Palace. We thought they were the Palace of, like, under Roy Hodgson or under, whoever managed them before, like maybe like I don't know, I can't remember who it was before Roy Hodgson off the top of my head now I've said it. But I don't know. It was like our defence just went, yeah, well, this will be fine. And then they absolutely suckered us. They just sucker punched us massively. I'm just appalled. I was just appalled watching the defensive display, especially from Konate and Bradley. It was dreadful. Konate especially. Like, it makes it worse on Konate simply for the reason that his head seemingly is in Spain. And if his head is in Spain and if he wants to go to Real Madrid, then just freaking go, mate. Just freaking go. Like, I don't know why they'd want you after putting in that kind of performance, but just go. I'm sick of this. I said at the beginning of the season, I don't want to go through this whole will he sign a new deal thing, will he not, when it seems clear and obvious that he does want to move to Real Madrid. And if that's the case, just go right now. Go right now. Seriously. This makes it worse from Konate. But yeah, I mean, Slot overthought it. The players didn't execute the game plan. It was poor throughout the entirety of the game. And fingers crossed it's just a blip. Fingers crossed it's a one-off. Fingers crossed it's a case of It's a case of it's similar to the Forest result last year. Fingers crossed that this is the result that gets these players into gear, because the performances haven't been great so far this season. Sometimes our attacks look really good. Sometimes our defenses look really good, but the two have never interlocked and been the same, with the exception of maybe that Atletico game. On Saturday, both just completely disjointed. Defense all over the place. Attack not firing on all cylinders. It's not looking good. It's really not looking good. And we've got Chelsea at the weekend. Now, I'm not going to give too much away in terms of prediction. And in this reality check video, I would love to go and talk about Chelsea. I would love to. But I'm not going to be stupid enough to do that before our big game at the weekend. I'm not going to be stupid enough to talk about Chelsea before the game at the weekend. So I'm going to leave Chelsea for now. But over the course of the international break, that could change depending on the result of the game on Sunday. But in terms of obviously Liverpool taking the game to Chelsea, I know we don't have a good record at Stamford Bridge. But in saying that, we still need to win. We need to go and take the game to Chelsea. We need to lay down a statement. We need to reply. We need to ultimately... that Chelsea are like a wounded animal right now. Like, had a poor run of results since the international break. Past couple of games, they've gone down to 10 men in both of their games and ended up on the losing end. There's no Cole Palmer. There's one or two other injury doubts for the game. We need to take the game to Chelsea. This is the perfect game in which our big name players especially need to step up. It's a perfect game. Like I say, we can lay down a statement if we win against Chelsea. It's a ground that has not exactly been too kind to us in recent memory. It's a club that obviously we have a lot of history and rivalry with. Go there on Saturday, lay down the statement, win the game in convincing fashion, and we forget that Palace ever even happened. We forget that this Palace game ever even happened, and we just say it was a blip on the radar. We just say it was a complete blip. A one-off, a bad day at the office, whatever you want to call it. Because if we don't, that's when alarm bells are going to be really starting to ring for me. Because at that point, we'll be 7 games into the Premier League season. We'll have played 1 game in the Carabao, and we'll have played 2 games by then in the Champions League. A total of 10 games. 11 if you want to even include the Community Shield. And I've seen very little to no to slow progression in terms of our overall performances. And our performances haven't been great. So I'm hoping and I'm praying for better performances, for better days to come. I'm not going to go too crazy on the Palace result. Like I say, I wasn't expecting perfection. I wasn't expecting us to blow Crystal Palace completely out the water, because I know how good Palace are. I know that they've got some good players. I know they've got a good strategy, a good plan. I know that they've got a good manager as well. But at the end of the day, I was expecting a slightly better performance than the one we got. A slightly better performance than the one we got. Big up Red Rain is in the building. Lovely to have you here, Jack. Lovely to have you here, my bro. Big up to you, my guy. Go and subscribe to Red Rain on here, guys. Doing some good things over there. Show some love and support to my brother over on his channel. Really good to have you here, my bro. Love to know what you're up to today, where you're watching from, and of course, what you make of any of the footballing topics at hand or any other footballing topics that you want to talk about. Let me know what you are thinking and feeling in the chat, my bro. But we move on. Galatasaray up tomorrow, Champions League. Should be a win for Liverpool, but it's going to be a very interesting test nonetheless. Away from home, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough. Away from home is going to be tough. We know that the Galatasaray fans are some of the most passionate and some of the most intense fans you can get. We know that obviously Liverpool going there is going to be big for them, as well as it obviously is going to be for the Champions League itself. It's going to be a very, very tough game overall. So it's going to be something that we're going to have to be looking forward to. You would imagine that with it being in the Champions League environment, that Liverpool might get a bit more joy in that game, which might put us in good stead for Saturday's game. A bit of a momentum boost, a bit of a confidence injection, a bit of a bounce back from obviously a very disappointing and horrible weekend in general. Fingers crossed, man. Fingers crossed that we obviously get to that point where... fingers crossed we get to that point. Because if we don't, then, yeah, like I say, alarm bells. Yeah, my channel got banned the other day, but I'm doing good, thanks, bro. Oh, shame about that, man. I didn't realize. I thought you were just starting a new thing, or you'd or you'd change the name or something. I didn't realize, my bro. Shame about that, man. But yeah, go and show some love and support to Red Rain, doing some or was doing some great things on his previous channel, but I'm sure he will get back ASAP to that level. Ekatike is back now tomorrow. Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, he served his one game ban domestically. So he is back. And that is good news for him and for Isaac. I think he will start Ekatike tomorrow. It's going to be interesting because I think he will start Ekatike tomorrow against Galatasaray. And then obviously probably start Isaac against Chelsea. I think that will probably be the plan now. But it was going to be interesting to see whether or not Ekatike would have started on Saturday had he not been banned from the game. I'm not going to put it all down to Ekatike. That's why we lost. We should have been winning anyway, regardless of whether Ekatike was there or not. But I think the way that we're obviously managing Isaac and everything like that would have been different. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens tomorrow, especially in terms of who's going to play, who's not going to play, who's going to start. For me personally, I go Alisson, but I wonder if he will start Mamardashvili. I'm going to be interested to see if he actually does start Mamardashvili tomorrow. But I'd go Alisson. I'd go Connor Bradley in this game because I feel like after the weekend's performance, he needs a chance to redeem himself. So I'd go Connor Bradley. I'd go Konate, Van Dijk at the heart of the defence. Although having said that, well, again, it's about him putting in a performance. So I probably would go Konate, but I wouldn't be surprised if Gomez does start tomorrow. I wouldn't be surprised. Robertson at left back is what I'd go for there. I'd leave Kirkez for Saturday. I'd go McAllister. No, I'd go Szoboszlai and Gravenberch. Szoboszlai and Gravenberch in the midfield. Salah on the right. Wirtz in the middle. I'd start Engamoa on the left. I know he's probably going to go Gakpo. And I was a bit surprised that Gakpo didn't start on Saturday. But having seen the formation, that's, why he didn't start him. So he probably would go Gakpo, but I'd start Engamoa on the left and then, again, save Gakpo for the final 20 to 30 minutes and then start Gakpo against Chelsea. But, to each their own on that one. And then I'd go Ekitike out front. I think that would be the lineup for tomorrow. Like I say, I'd go Bradley against Galatasaray, and I'd go Frimpong against Chelsea. But that's just me. Like I say, I said last week that Gakpo would start against Palace. I was wrong. Tell you what I was right about, though. Ismail Assar, he scored against us at the weekend. I said that he saved his best performances for us, and that's exactly what he did. Ismail Assar just turns up whenever he faces Liverpool. Doesn't matter whether it's a Watford shirt or a Crystal Palace shirt. The guy turns up whenever he faces Liverpool. Don't know why. It's absolutely horrible. It's wrong on so many levels. All I know is that they face Arsenal in a couple of weeks' time. Now, if they do what Newcastle did and roll over or bottle it, then I won't be happy. I will not be happy. If Arsenal are the first team to actually beat Palace and end their unbeaten run, that would be horrible. That would be horrible. That can't happen, surely. But yeah, Liverpool versus Galatasaray tomorrow. That's going to be huge. And then, of course, we've got a big game on Saturday against Chelsea. A massive week coming up for Liverpool as we head into the international break afterwards. Liverpool are still top of the table. We're still 2 points clear. But there's just some causes for concern, especially after the Crystal Palace result at the weekend. Moving on, Arsenal. Beat Newcastle by 2-1 yesterday. Voltemeda scored the opening goal of the game. Decent header, decent cross. Very good play from Tonali. And then in the 84th minute, Newcastle fell apart completely. They capitulated, they imploded, they collapsed. Mikel Merino scoring the equalising goal off the bench. Similar sort of thing from the first goal, really, that Newcastle scored. Short corner, played out to Declan Rice, Rice's delivery, and Merino with the header. Surprise, surprise, Arsenal's winning goal also came from a set piece. I know, who'd have thought it? Cross, Gabriel header, goal. Nick Pope didn't cover himself in much glory at the end. He was at fault for, I'd definitely say the second goal, but you could maybe make an argument for the first goal as well. And Newcastle bottled it. Newcastle bottled it from that position onwards. Now, there was a bit of controversy in the game. Should Gabriel have even been on the pitch to score that winning goal with his coming together with Voltemeda? In my opinion, no. And we'll get on to why in a second. There was also controversy in terms of a handball appeal against Gabriel, in which it seemed to deflect off of his foot and onto his arm after he'd gone sliding in. Should that have been a penalty? Let me know what you guys are thinking and feeling in the chat. Should Gabriel have been on the pitch to score the winning goal? And should Gabriel have given away a penalty to Newcastle? You just knew, by the way, you just knew that after both of those things that Gabriel was going to be the one to score the winning goal. You just knew. You just knew. And also, should Arsenal's penalty have been allowed to stand? Arsenal were given a penalty in the first half. Nick Pope was judged to have tripped Victor Gyökeres in the penalty area. But after review, it was seen that Pope did get a touch onto the ball and therefore gets away with the potential foul on the Swedish striker. In my opinion, we'll start with the Arsenal penalty first. It's difficult to say it's not a penalty when a similar sort of incident occurred last week in the Chelsea-Man United game, in which Sanchez rushed out of his goal, took the Manchester United player, I think it was Brian Mbuemo, took him out and ended up getting sent off for it. A free kick was given to Man United and he was sent off. Is it because it happened in the penalty area and not outside the penalty area? I don't know. But it's difficult to say that that was a red card and this isn't. I don't know if being inside the penalty area had any sort of difference, was any sort of difference maker in the referee and VAR's decision to overturn the original on-field decision. I don't know. I would have stuck with it though. I would have stuck with it. Again, it's this clear and obvious thing. It's this clear and obvious thing that I have been ranting and raving about for so long that doesn't make any sense. It really doesn't make any sense. Clear and obvious. What is clear and obvious? What's clear and obvious to me might not be clear and obvious to you, and vice versa. For me, I can understand why the referee would have given it on the pitch. So therefore, was it clear and obvious that it was the wrong call to make? Probably not. Therefore, should it have actually been overturned? I don't know. But I can understand why it wasn't given in the same way that I can understand why it was given. Because Pope does make contact with the ball. There's no doubt about it. He does make contact with the ball. He also tries to sort of get out the way of the onrushing Gyökeres. But of course, he's already there. So he can't really. So he has to make contact with the player. So I can understand why the ref would give it. I can understand why the referee also wouldn't give it. I can understand why the VAR has overall overturned that decision. It is what it is. The Gabriel thing on Voltemada. How is he still on the pitch? How is he still on the pitch after that? Now, don't get me wrong. It's not the worst. It's not the worst attack on a player you'll ever see. It's not the worst you'll ever see that a player's lost his head. But at the same time, you run the risk. If you're doing that, you are running a big risk, especially in the day in the day of VAR as well. In a day in which there is VAR that are meant to be looking at these types of situations occurring and trying to guide the referee into making the right decision. Why are you running that risk of doing something so stupid? I think Gabriel was very lucky. I really, really do. I think Gabriel is very lucky to still be on the pitch. I think Gabriel is stupid for doing something that dumb. And overall, I think Arsenal are fortunate because at that point, I think they could have been in some serious trouble. Down to 10 men, and their best defender being sent off. I think they would have been in some serious trouble. Look, like I say, it's not the worst thing in the world that you'll ever see. It's not like the worst kind of punch. And I think that with Voltemada not going down, maybe it's kind of played into Gabriel's favour a little bit. If it had just gone down, if it had just, even if it's like just a drop to like a crouching sort of position and like holding his face, maybe could have played into it a little bit more to maybe try and get Gabriel sent off. Maybe that's credit to Voltemada for not doing that. But at the end of the day, like, it is very risky from Gabriel. It's very dumb from Gabriel to do that. And I think he is a very lucky boy to have stayed on the pitch at that point. And the fact of the matter is that when you couple that with the handball he does near the end of the game, I know that it comes off his foot onto his hand, but I still think that hand is in a somewhat unnatural position to be that high up. To be that high up, I still think it is a somewhat unnatural position to be that high, regardless of whether it comes off his foot or not. And so because of that, again, I could understand why the referee would give that as a penalty. I really, really could. But you couple those things in together, and I've got to say that as a Liverpool fan, I'm a little bit surprised that neither, or at least one of them, wasn't given. And I'm not just saying that because Arsenal are like seen as the big title rivals and all of that kind of stuff. I'm just a little bit surprised that that wasn't the case. But also, I'm a little surprised because I was always led to believe by certain Arsenal fans that the PGMOL referees and VAR were out there to protect Liverpool and Liverpool's best interests and to obviously help Liverpool to win a Premier League title. That was what I was led to believe by certain Arsenal fans. But yet, in a golden opportunity, a golden situation for the referees and the VAR on the day to help Liverpool out, they haven't taken it. And they've actually helped Arsenal. They've actually helped benefit Arsenal in that situation. So this whole narrative that certain Arsenal fans have built up, that referees are against them, referees conspire against Arsenal, referees are only there to help Liverpool win, completely blown out of the water right now because of what happened yesterday. Now, look, I think Arsenal were very good value for their win. They dominated. They were a very big attacking threat. And at times, Newcastle couldn't keep up with them. I think overall, maybe you could argue that had it not been for some good saves from Nick Pope or some decent last-ditch defending, the scoreline could have been bigger in Arsenal's favour. But let's not ignore the controversies that surround a penalty that I can guarantee you that sort of incident will happen again at some point later on in the season, and it will be given as a penalty and it will stand. I can guarantee you that will happen. On both penalties, by the way, both the handball and the foul from the goalkeeper on Gyökeres, both of those incidents will happen again later on in the season, and they will be given as penalties. They will not be overturned, and people will be comparing those decisions to the decisions in the game yesterday and going, well, why was one of them given and not the other? That will 100% happen. I can almost guarantee it, because these referees are stupid, these referees are incompetent, and these referees are inconsistent as hell. So I can guarantee you that at some point during this season, those things will happen. But what I can also say is that on the potential Gabriel red card, if that had been Virgil van Dijk, Arsenal fans would be in an uproar, claiming that this is a conspiracy. How can Van Dijk get away with this? How can this happen? Blah, 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 blah. But no Arsenal fan is calling it out because it actually did benefit Arsenal. Just saying. And again, on the penalty thing as well, if that goes against Liverpool, it's radio silence. Well, Liverpool get away with so many things, it's fine. If that penalty had gone for Liverpool, the handball, or even the other one, the Arsenal one, it's PGMOL League. Liverpool are once again paying off refs and all of this kind of conspiracy crap. That's the thing that really annoys me as a Liverpool fan. Those are the things that really annoy me as a Liverpool fan as to why those kind of controversial moments in the Arsenal-Newcastle game yesterday really did annoy me. They really did annoy me in terms of that aspect. Some may say it's salty, and there may be a bit of salt. But for so long, seeing Arsenal fans moan about Liverpool getting lucky VAR and refereeing decisions, Liverpool winning games by the skin of their teeth in injury time. It's not sustainable. It's not this. It's not that. It's not the other. Liverpool's injury time is only big when they need a goal in comparison to when they don't need a goal. All of those kind of things. All of those things kind of happened this weekend for Arsenal in terms of they won a game in injury time, as in they got a couple of lucky and fortunate refereeing decisions that went in their favour that on another day might not have done. I'm just saying, you moan about these things, you moan about the conspiracies, you moan about these sort of things. Just be prepared to have it all come back to bite you somewhere down the line, like it is right now. Because because here's the thing, Arsenal fans are so good at making excuses. Throughout the game yesterday, and even before the game yesterday, they were talking about, was it Jared Gillett? About how he's allegedly a Liverpool fan, and why, basically, if we lose, it's because the referee is a Liverpool fan. They're so good at making those kinds of excuses. And that's what we were hearing yesterday, when in fact, the referee who did support Liverpool was the one who gave them the penalty. So I'm just throwing that out there. It makes no sense. But Arsenal fans are very good at coming up with these conspiracy theories. Look, at the end of the day, Arsenal proved their mettle yesterday. I'm not going to go too deep into the mentality monsters thing. I just threw it out there as a bit of a talking point. I'm not going to go on that level yet because, it's just one game. It's just one game. There's a whole season to go yet, and the pressure is not even fully on Arsenal yet. And we all know what happens with Arsenal and pressure. They don't necessarily go well together. So we will see what happens with Arsenal down the line. But at the same time, in saying that, it is what it is, man. It is what it is in terms of what Arsenal did yesterday. Like I say, very good result. Not many teams are going to go to St. James's Park and win, or at least dominate in the way that Arsenal did. I know that there was a lot of talk about handbrake being off and all of that stuff, but like I say, the thing with Arsenal fans is don't get too ahead of yourselves. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Enjoy the moment, enjoy the win, enjoy the performance, because it was clearly and obviously your best performance of the season so far. But just be aware that these things have a way of biting back. These things have a way of coming back to haunt you later on down the line. Don't get too ahead of yourself. Enjoy the moment. But just be aware that things can easily turn around. And you should be aware of that from the past couple of years of them doing that. But Arsenal fans don't seem to learn. Big up SM44. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Yeah, I feel your pain, my bro. It was a very horrible, horrible weekend. You say here that now I am worried about that. I won't be worried. I think on Saturday, I mean, first half he played out of position and it was just no one had a good game in that first half. I wouldn't be worried too much about that. Second half, he was better. When he got moved back into the centre, he was a little better. He should have scored. Oh, I won't deny that. He should have scored in the second half. When Szoboszlai played that ball in, he should have scored. But I'm still not worried. I'm still not worried. People want to go back to this 007 stuff. Last week, people were saying it was 007 whilst counting the Community Shield, but not also counting his assist in the Community Shield, which made absolutely no sense whatsoever. And not only that as well, but like now that the Community Shield is the 8th game, they are now counting the Champions League game as well as the 6 Premier League games that he's played in. Again, he's not played the entirety of those games. And not only that as well, but Jesus Christ, man. Like, I don't care. I genuinely don't care. This 007 stuff is stupid. We haven't bought him for 7 games. We've bought him for the next however many years he's going to be at Liverpool Football Club for. So he's going to turn out to be class. I'm convinced by it. I'm sure of it. He's going to be amazing. And not only that as well, but Thierry Henry, it took him 9 games, Thierry Henry, what many people would consider the Premier League GOAT, to finally break that kind of duck for him when he first arrived in the Premier League. I'm not worried. I'm really, really, really not worried. I'm really not worried. I'm just, like I say, maybe if it gets to about Christmas and New Year and I've seen like no improvement, then maybe I might start to get a bit concerned. But for right now, it's fine. It's fine. Szoboszlai is so good at right back. Yeah, he is. I don't know if this is going to have to be a new position for him. I don't know if this is going to be a new position for him or not, but he's done really, really well. McAllister still seems to be struggling. So, I don't know, man. Maybe tomorrow we might have to go Szoboszlai at right back and Curtis Jones alongside Gravenberch. Maybe that's the play tomorrow rather than what I originally said with Szoboszlai alongside Gravenberch and Bradley at right back. But we shall see, man. We shall see. I thought Szoboszlai was okay in the game as well. I thought Gakpo, Szoboszlai, I thought they were okay. I thought Van Dijk was good and Alisson was exceptional. They're the only 4 players. Obviously, Chiesa gets his goal as well, so special shout out to Chiesa. But apart from those 4 or 5 players, no one played well. No one played well in that game. It was bad day at the office all around. Defense, attack, midfield. Yeah, it was a very, very, very poor day at the office for everybody involved, unfortunately, for Liverpool. Guys, don't forget to like, subscribe, and also get involved in the chat as we go along, people. We've still got a couple more talking points left to discuss, as well as anything else that you guys want to talk about, of course. So feel free to get involved. Just seeing if anything has happened here. But yeah, Arsenal managed to get the win, and it's a massive win as well. Like I say, didn't look like it was going to be going their own way for the majority of the game, and then all of a sudden they turn it around within the blink of an eye. And let's say much needed win after seeing Liverpool lose the previous day. They needed to obviously take advantage of that, close the gap, and they did so. Is it a one-off? Potentially. We'll wait and see if it is a one-off or whether or not this is Arsenal now being the real deal. But that will give them a huge injection of confidence. And I think Arsenal have got a very favourable run of games coming up as well, if I'm not mistaken. Let's just have a look here at Arsenal's next run of games. So Champions League against Olympiacos on Wednesday, but then after that they're at home to West Ham. Even with Nuno Espirito Santo, a new manager bounce seems unlikely to continue. Well, potentially continue there, depending on their result tonight against Everton. So that one should be a win for Arsenal. Then they have Fulham away from home when we return off the international break on the 18th. So, again, as awkward as what Craven Cottage can be for Arsenal, you're probably seeing a win there, depending on what Fulham side turns up. Craven Cottage and Fulham at home can be awkward for most teams, but you'd still probably back Arsenal in that London derby to win. Then they have Atletico in the Champions League at home. Then they have Crystal Palace at home as well. Again, could be very awkward for Arsenal in that one. So that was probably worth keeping your eye on. But then they have Burnley away from home. That should be a win. Slavia Prague in the Champions League, followed by Sunderland away from home. So again, that should be a win there. Then it's the London derby between Arsenal and Tottenham. Again, you don't really want to count out a derby, but at the same time, that should be Arsenal's being at home, and Tottenham kind of hit and miss these past couple of weeks. So we shall see. Hopefully Tottenham can get something, but it's, going to be awkward. Then they have Bayern at home in the Champions League, and then it's a London derby between them and Chelsea, which again, depending on Chelsea's situation, could be awkward, but should probably be in Arsenal's favour. Then they have Brentford. Then they have Aston Villa. Then Club Brugge in the Champions League again. And then they have Wolves. I think it's a favourable run of games for Arsenal coming up. I think there are a lot of favourable games for Arsenal that are coming up right now. They've had an awkward start to the season, but now it seems to be smooth sailing. The only exception being is that game against Crystal Palace. But until they get to the end of November, where it's Tottenham, Bayern, and then Chelsea, potentially that could be a very awkward, tricky run of fixtures there. But until that point, it should be pretty much smooth sailing with West Ham, Fulham, Burnley. Palace could be tricky, but then, of course, Sunderland as well. And then they go into the tricky run of fixtures. Should be relatively straightforward for Arsenal, in my opinion, which is unfortunate and horrible because I want it to be as difficult for them as possible. But we shall see. We shall see. This is Arsenal Football Club, after all, that we are talking about here. And we know that, doing things the straightforward and easy way doesn't necessarily come too naturally to both Arsenal and Mikel Arteta. So hopefully they do slip up. That Palace game is the one I'm looking at. But yeah, we'll see on that level. Manchester United. Let's get into this one, shall we? This one's very interesting. Another disastrous result for Manchester United at the weekend, losing 3-1 to Brentford. I was pretty sure that United would pick up their their back-to-back win this weekend. I was pretty sure they'd pick up their second win in a row in this one, but it was not to be. Everything that could go wrong for United did go wrong. Brentford took the lead inside 10 minutes. Brentford doubled their lead about 10 minutes later. United got back into the game through the first goal of for his new club in Benjamin Sesko. Bruno Fernandes missed a penalty, and Brentford went on to win the game late on and wrap up the points late in the game. Everything that could go wrong for United did go wrong for United. Now, don't get me wrong. I think they were somewhat unfortunate that it wasn't a red card for the Brentford player who conceded the penalty. I think that obviously Bruno Fernandes got a little bit shafted when it came to taking the penalty and having to wait time for, substitutions and the like to take place beforehand. But even so, you're still expecting Bruno Fernandes to score the penalty. But it's been dreadful. It has been absolutely dreadful as far as what United are concerned. And, chalk and cheese really to the side that beat Chelsea. I don't know where they go from here, man. I really don't know where they go from here. I said before that I think Amorim is the right manager, just probably at the wrong time for United. I think he's been let down a little bit this season by the fact that they've prioritised in maybe the wrong areas. Should have looked for a goalkeeper early on in the summer. They didn't. Should have maybe looked at a midfielder, central midfielder. They didn't. Well, they did, but, by then, money was a bit of an issue. They'd already splashed the cash on a striker that I don't think they necessarily needed in Benjamin Sesko. So, yeah, awkward in terms of that aspect as well. But the news today is that the pressure keeps on mounting on Ruben Amorim. And with that pressure, it comes speculation. And that speculation is that a certain former Spanish maestro midfielder, a former Barcelona manager, is seemingly interested in becoming the next Manchester United manager. Now, that manager obviously is the one and only Xavi. Xavi is said to be interested in taking on the Man United position and the Man United role if Ruben Amorim should falter. I don't know where they go from here, man. I really don't know where they go from here. And I don't know how long they keep the faith in Ruben Amorim. I think they need to, just simply for the reason that I don't see the point in them ripping things up and starting again so soon into the tenure of Ruben Amorim. I really, really don't see the point in them doing that. But at the same time, I could understand why they would do it. I'm just looking ahead now at United's next run of fixtures. They have Sunderland at the weekend. That is a difficult game given the start of the season that Sunderland have had. Given the start of the season that Sunderland have had, it is going to be a very difficult game for United. Then they have Liverpool after the international break. Now, don't be surprised, whoever's in charge at that point, for United to raise their game regardless. Don't be surprised if, because it's against Liverpool, United raise their game regardless of who is the manager of that football club at that time. If Amorim's still there, if they bring back Solskjaer for whatever reason, or if they go for whoever, don't be surprised when those Man United players turn up at Anfield and decide, you know what, we're going to have a go today. Don't be surprised, because that's what United do. That's what United do. That's what they did last season on a couple of occasions. That's what they've done in recent years. Even when they've been crap, United raise their game against Liverpool. But then they go and host Brighton. They're away then to Nottingham Forest. They're away to Tottenham. They're at home to Everton. Away to Crystal Palace. Home to West Ham. Away to Wolves. Home to Bournemouth, before being away to Aston Villa, home to Newcastle United, and they close out the year being at home to Wolves on the 30th of December. So that is their fixtures between now and the end of the year. Sunderland, Liverpool, Brighton, Forest, Tottenham, Everton, Palace, West Ham, Wolves, Man United, Villa, Newcastle, and Wolves again. It's difficult to see where things are going to pick up properly for United, or they're going to find some consistency. There are a few games there where you could see United winning 100% and getting some good points from. Sunderland, slightly favourable, but still, given the start to the season that the Black Cats have had, you would imagine that they might be difficult for United to get past. Liverpool, of course, that's going to be hopefully difficult. Brighton, good attacking outfit, struggling to score goals completely this season, unless they're obviously down to, the opposition is down to 10 men. But yeah, that's going to be a difficult game. The Nottingham Forest game is going to be interesting, because with the way that Ange Postecoglou started things at Forest, that could be should be in Man United's favour, to be honest. Tottenham under Thomas Frank is going to be difficult. Everton's always going to be difficult. David Moyes returning to face his former club. Palace, we've spoken a lot about Forest in this live stream already. West Ham could be favourable, but again, who knows? By that point, Nuno Espirito Santo could have got his feet firmly under the table at West Ham, and he could have really gotten into those players. Wolves away from home, who knows what their situation will be by that point? Could they have a new manager themselves, even though the manager's already signed a new deal? What might happen with Wolves at that point? Who knows? Bournemouth, they're going to be tough regardless. We know how tough Bournemouth are going to be. Aston Villa picked up their first win of the season at the weekend. Who knows what position they're going to be in, especially with Europa League football as well. Newcastle, that's going to be awkward for them. And then, of course, like I say, Wolves again, as we've just previously discussed. Who knows what kind of position is going to happen there. So, United's fixtures are very much up and down. There are a couple of favourable ones in there, but nothing really to be consistent. I don't know, man. I don't know. I want to know from United fans, what do you make of this? Is this a stick by Amorim no matter what situation, or is this get him out immediately? I don't know where you go from here. You've tried everything else. This is obviously to do with the club. This is to do with the ownership. It runs deeper than just it being a manager or a player issue. They are issues, don't get me wrong, but I think it runs deeper than that. I'm interested to know from you guys what you guys are thinking and feeling. Big up Jordan, bro. Is this a channel revamp you're going through right now, my bro? Is this a channel revamp? If so, I like it. I like it a lot. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Anyway, go and show some love and support to my boy Jordan over on his channel. I'm sure he will absolutely appreciate the hell out of it. So go over there and show him some love and support. Yeah, I'm liking it, bro. I'm liking it. I like it. Channel revamp. That's pretty cool. But yeah, big up to you, my bro. Big up to you. And then the news today, like I say, that the pressure is rising on Amorim. Xavi could be coming in to replace him. Look, the reality check on this situation is simple as, well, not as simple, but the reality check on this situation is I don't even know. Like I say, I think Amorim is the right manager at the wrong time. I really, really do. I think he's the right manager at the wrong time. But the problem is that you either go for someone who's a bit of an unknown manager to sort of succeed him, or you go in a completely different direction to what Amorim is. And I reckon that because it's United, it's a case of they go in a different direction to what he is. But the process would have to be to initially get the fans back on side and then build from there. And the person to get the fans back on side, in my opinion, would be Gareth Southgate. Gareth Southgate would be the way to go. The football would be boring, but it might be a little bit more effective. So I don't know. We shall see where it goes. But I don't know, man. There just seems to be I don't know. It just seems to be a lot of stuff going on at United right now that is just not clicking. Not clicking at all. Yes, it is a channel rebrand. Nice. I rate it, bro. I rate it, and good luck with it all. Hope it all does go well. Like I say, guys, go and check out Jordan's channel. Doing some great stuff over there. He does. He's obviously a Liverpool fan, if you couldn't already tell. Been on the channel a fair few times as well over here. Always great to talk football with you, bro. And like I say, yeah, I'm sure there is something for everybody on Jordan's channel. So do go ahead and check all that out. SM44 says, without Federico Chiesa in the travelling squad, he deserves a lot at this club. He's not in our Champions League squad, though. That's the problem. So he's not in our Champions League squad, so he obviously won't be participating at all tomorrow. But yeah, like past few games, he's been one of our best players. He's been one of our best players, so he definitely deserves a lot more than what he's getting right now. I mentioned on my reaction to the defeat the other day, I mentioned that maybe with the way that Salah's playing right now, just send a bit of a message. Just send a bit of a message. Drop Salah for Chiesa. Bring Salah on as a sub. Is that a bit harsh? Is that maybe a bit harsh? Potentially. But I personally think that, send a bit of a message. Throw Chiesa on. And put Salah as a sub. Maybe that is a bit harsh. Big up Luca Talks Dons. Hope you're doing well, my bro. Big result for your boys yesterday and for your MK Don side at the weekend. Big result for both of you this weekend. I'm sure you're buzzing. I'm sure you had a very, very good weekend indeed. Yeah, I'm sure you've had I'm sure you've had a very, very good weekend this weekend. I'm good, thank you, bro. I hope you are as well. Go and support my bro Luca Talks Dons over there on his channel. He's an Arsenal and MK Dons fan. There's a lot of MK Dons content, but will talk Arsenal from time to time as well. So if you want to broaden your footballing horizons, go and support Luca Talks Dons over on his channel, doing some very, very interesting and some very cool stuff over there. Does matchday vlogs, does previews, reactions, and so much more. So go and find Luca Talks Dons and show him some love and show him some support from us here on this channel. Where are we at? SM44 says, "Oh, I didn't know." Yeah, he's not in our Champions League squad, unfortunately. So, yeah, it's reportedly it came down to a choice between Rio Engamoa and Federico Chiesa, and he went with Engamoa. I think it's because Champions League rulings is because Engamoa hasn't been at the club long enough to qualify as just a homegrown, natural, under 21-year-old talent. So he don't just automatically get in. I'm not sure what the entirety of the rules are, but I think it's something like that. But yeah. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is. Where are we at? You also go on to say that I thought he would come in place of Leone, who recently had an ACL injury. I don't know if we're allowed to change it because of that. I think the only time we're allowed to change the Champions League squad is when we get into the knockout stages. I think when we hit the knockout stages, I think is the only time we're allowed to change the Champions League squad. I think that's the only time we're allowed to change it. But until then, we have to go with what we have right now. So, again, unfortunate. But it is what it is in terms of that aspect. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So, yeah, Xavi to Manchester United. According to reports today, that could be on the cards. Xavi is reportedly interested in taking on the United role immediately. How long do you give Amorim? If you're Manchester United, if you're the Glazers, if you're Ineos, if you're Sir Jim Ratcliffe, how long do you give Ruben Amorim right now? Because last week it was all sunshine and rainbows. They just beaten Chelsea. It was a very good result, very good performance by Man United overall. But the reality of football is that things can change in an instant. And the instant, obviously, was Brentford. Brentford humbled them, brought them back down to earth. How long do you give Ruben Amorim? Because for me, like I say, I think they need to choose a direction and stick with it for as long as they can. I know he's creating problems for himself. Diallo is not a wing back. Bruno Fernandes is not a number 8. Those kinds of issues. I know he's creating problems for himself, but there's no way you can tell me like some of those players just are in need of getting rid of. The fact that Luke Shaw is playing for Man United in the year 2025 is just an abomination. The fact that Casemiro is still there, Ugarte is there, is just abysmal, absolutely abysmal. Like, there are just certain things that I cannot fathom, I cannot believe, and overall, I cannot understand with Man United. But yet, on certain occasions, the manager has to play with the cards he's been dealt with. And the cards are not looking great right now. I mean, it would be amazing if he stays till after the international break, he loses to Liverpool, and then we get him sacked. That would be amusing. Another Man United manager sacked at the hands of Liverpool Football Club. That would be great. That would be amazing. But yeah, man, it is what it is. It is what it is. We will see what the future holds for Manchester United and Ruben Amorim going forward. Anything else that you guys want to talk about? Anything else that you guys want to talk about on this reality check show? We've talked, obviously, Liverpool losing to Palace and what that may mean for the future of the club. We've talked about Arsenal mentality, all of that good stuff. We shall see. Just check Twitter. It's still Twitter to me, god damn it. SM44 here said, bear with me 1 second. Just going to do that, and do that. Liverpool didn't win at Ramos Park. Is that true? My friend told me yesterday. I don't know, bro. I don't know. Let's have a look at right, so according to 11 versus 11, against Galatasaray, we have a record of 1 win, 2 draws, and 1 loss. The last time we played Galatasaray was in 2006, home and away, group stages. We won 3-2, and we also lost 3-2. The last time we played them was the loss. We lost 3-2. Sasa Ilic scored in the 79th minute to make it 3-1 at that point. Robbie Fowler scored a brace for Liverpool. The starting lineup in 2006 was Jerzy Dudek, Daniel Agger, Jamie Carragher, John Onorisa, Gabriel Paletta, Lee Peltier, Danny Guthrie. Jesus Christ, I didn't even realize that these players were actually in the squad. Jermaine Pennant, Xabi Alonso, Craig Bellamy, and Robbie Fowler. Those were the teams on the day. That was the Liverpool team on the day, with Mickey Roque, Peter Crouch, and Luis Garcia coming off the bench. Unused subs on that day was David Martin, Dirk Kuyt, Paul Anderson, and Stephen Darby. That is going back some just under 20 odd years ago. That is incredible. That is absolutely incredible to think that about Liverpool and the last time we faced Galatasaray. As far as what Rams Park is concerned, I'm not 100% sure. Big up Marco's in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome along, my bro. Hope you're doing well. He asks, is Xavi to Man United realistic? Well, according to certain reports today, bro, he's open for the challenge. He's seemingly up for the challenge. Now, whether or not that's just paper talk or whether or not that is actually genuine, it did seem to come from, I think the source was actually Romano. I think Romano stated that. So whether or not it's true or not remains to be seen. But it's whatever it is, it's big for Man United if that is the case. Big for Xavi, big for United. Is it realistic? I don't know. But I don't understand why Man United fans would be happy about it if it was, because I think the problems run so deep beyond the manager that I think even if they got a Pep Guardiola in at Man United, it still wouldn't solve their issues. At least not right away anyway. And patience does seem to be wearing thin with every new manager. So remains to be seen what does happen. But we could be in for a very interesting international break with obviously not just United, but a couple of other teams as well, seemingly losing their patience with their managers. So we shall see, man. We shall see. Polinia went more crazy than Ekatiko with his celebration with taking off his shirt after securing a draw against an out-of-form Wolves. Yeah, I didn't agree with it. I said the other day, I'm not going to celebration police Ekatike's goal because he scored a winning goal in that scenario. But João Polinia taking off his shirt against the bottom of the table Wolverhampton Wanderers side, who were winning 1-0 at the time. Polinia scores not a winner, but an equaliser. An equaliser is mad to me. It's mad to me. They were bottom of the table, Wolves. They had not picked up a point all season. And then here comes Tottenham, grants them a point, and you're celebrating by taking your shirt off. The only thing that was different is that you weren't already on a yellow card. Like, that's the only thing that's different. At least Ekatike scored the winner, which is my point from the beginning. My point from the beginning was, if Ekatike had scored an equaliser and done that, I would be hating on him more. I would be calling him out more. But he actually scored the winning goal. Yes, it's against Championship side Southampton. Fantastic. Who cares? It was still a winning goal in a cup competition. I couldn't care less. What I did care about was the fact that the Muppet forgot he'd already been booked and therefore rightfully sent off, even though the law and the rule of taking off your shirt is so stupid, it is so pointless, and it's even more pointless when you consider that underneath his shirt, he was wearing that kind of Under Armour stuff. So it's stupid and pointless again to even be considering doing that, but the rule is the rule. But yet, João Palhinha did it against bottom of the table, completely pointless Wolverhampton Wanderers, and celebrates the way that he did. That was stupid from João Palhinha. So dumb. So very, very dumb. Dudek was out 6 yards during those penalties in the Champions League final different times. Yeah, he took advantage of a rule change that only occurred after those penalties. My favourite part about that is that when people bring it up and say that Liverpool cheated. That's my favourite part about that. People to this day still bring up the clip of Dudek saving. I think it's from Shevchenko. I think it might be Shevchenko's one that he saves. And he's like, he runs out. He basically runs out to it and dives on the ball from the spot. But they still bring that one up. And they go, look at Dudek. Look at how much he's cheating. It wasn't cheating. Like, the rules weren't in place then. The rules were in place afterwards, but the rules weren't in place at that point, and we took advantage of that, and it really did help us. Thing is, Dida in the AC Milan goal could have done the exact same thing as what Dudek did, but didn't. So yeah, just like I said, different times, man, different times. But we shall see. The Voltemeda Gabriel battle was a sight to behold. Gabriel had the last laugh. Voltemeda is 6.5 and 6'5" and goes to battle of Gabriel in the corner. The entire game had 3 his as goals. Classic game. It was a very, very good game yesterday. It was a very good game. The battle between Voltemeda and Gabriel was definitely an interesting talking point, as we've mentioned earlier on in this live stream. I think Gabriel goes down way too easily for the goal. There is absolutely no way that's a push in the back on Gabriel, which makes it stupid. I think Gabriel's lucky to stay on the pitch when he tries to punch almost Voltemeda in the face. It was a weak punch, which I think is why he gets away with it. But even so, as I said earlier, why are you running that risk? Especially with VAR in play, there is no need to run that risk, because on another day, another player might have made more of a meal of it. They might have gone down holding their face. They might have done some rolling around and stuff, and it might have got him sent off. Gabriel was very, very lucky, in my opinion, to have stayed on the pitch. But that battle was definitely something, like you say, a sight to behold. And it just blunted Newcastle when Voltemeda went off. It just blunted Newcastle completely. And it was almost like they were trying to play for the 1-0. But it is what it is. It is what it is. Why does Arsenal Football Club play basketball in the football stadium? I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, they got away with the one against us, didn't they? And then they got away with the handball yesterday. Like I say, I understand why that handball wasn't given yesterday, but I could also understand why it would have been given. I think he gets lucky because, for me, having your hand up that high when you're going to ground is just asking for trouble. I don't care if it got a deflection. I understand by that kind of logic of the rule, it shouldn't have been given. But that's where I think the rule is stupid. Because, again, why are you that high up? Why is your hand that high up? It makes no sense to me. Like, why you go to ground, your hand would be that high up. It is, again, it is what it is. Like I say, if that was given against Arsenal fans will be crying right now, but Arsenal fans are not mentioning it whatsoever. If that penalty had been given for Liverpool, Arsenal fans would be crying right now. They would be crying as well. So it is what it is. Big up Kinsman is in the building. How you doing, my bro? Lovely to have you here with us. Chiesa, man. Yeah, man. He's just keeps taking his opportunities, doesn't he? He just keeps taking his opportunities. The rule that keepers have to stay on their line seems unfair. Give keepers a chance to save a penalty. I mean, some keepers still manage to save them. Kelleher at the weekend, for example, saved from Bruno Fernandes. So I think keepers are all right, but that's the whole point. You have to give the advantage to the attacking team, or a bigger advantage to the attacking team. Why do we need 3 goalkeepers in the team? Just in case. Just in case, especially with Alisson normally picking up a yearly injury. It just seems to be the case. Newcastle keep getting hit with daggers last minute. They are way down in the table now. They bottled it yesterday. They had a very good opportunity and they bottled it. And the main cause of that bottle job was their goalkeeper. They defended very well from set pieces all game. And then, like, the final 2, they let themselves down with. Their goalkeeper bottled it yesterday. I mean, all goals that during Newcastle Arsenal were headers, even Marino. Yeah, I didn't actually put that together until you said it. Yeah, Voltemader's goal and Marino's goal, apart from obviously the direction of the header, was pretty much the same goal. Worked it down the left from a short corner. I mean, are you really surprised that Arsenal's came from headers, considering they came from set pieces? Are you really, surprised by that? I know that they played very well yesterday, and I know that they created a fair few opportunities from open play. But at the same time, are you really surprised that it was set pieces that bailed Arsenal out again? I'm just throwing it out there. Did Slot blame Frimpong? He blamed a player. I don't think he named the player. I thought it was Cody Gakpo. I thought Gakpo was the one that was breaking forward for a counter-attack. I could be wrong, but I thought it was Gakpo who was indirectly blaming for the counter that led to the goal. That was my take anyway. I could be wrong. They released the whole squad playing for Champions League, and Chiesa is not part of the team. Yeah, he's not part of the squad anyway. He's not part of the Champions League squad in general. So, like I say, he was the one who was exempt from it. I think it came down to between Engamoa and him, and Slot went with Engamoa over Chiesa. So, Chiesa's not part of the Champions League squad, at least until the knockout stages, and then he'll have the opportunity to re-register him for then. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with Chiesa, but he's not part of the Champions League squad anyway. How can Bruno take a penalty when Sesko is on the pitch? Well, it's the reason that Bruno has been the penalty taker for years. So it's a bit like Salah right now. I reckon that even if Isak is on the pitch, I reckon Salah still takes the penalties for Liverpool, if obviously he's on the pitch. If both are on the pitch, I still reckon Salah does. But I'd be lying if I said I wouldn't probably prefer Isak to take him, because I think he's probably more deadly from 12 yards. But, yeah. I wonder if they'll change it. So, especially because Brian Mbeumo has a good penalty record. I know that he didn't score in the penalty shootout against Grimsby, but I know that Brian Mbeumo has a very good penalty record. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe, because I think this is like the second penalty in recent memory that Bruno's missed, I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they consider changing penalty takers going forward. So we shall see. Maybe the free goalkeeper was for the Champions League squad team. Yeah, I think most clubs take free goalkeepers. Most clubs take free goalkeepers anyway, so I think that may be a requirement in the team. SM44 says, how can they say they are the biggest club? They haven't won one UCL yet. What a fan base they have. Also, fans just get too ahead of themselves, man. Some of the takes that those guys have is absolutely incredible. I saw one take this past weekend that basically stated that Martin Zubimendi, it was either Zubimendi or Marina, I can't remember which one, is individually better than what Steven Gerrard was. And at that point, I just had to say, you have to delete your club. You have to delete Arsenal Football Club in general. Your club, your fan base, everything about you is embarrassing. I wouldn't be surprised if Mikel Arteta comes out today and goes, I had CEOs and CFOs and EIEIOs frigging message me telling me how great the win against Newcastle was yesterday. Because he's a liar, he's a moron, and he's just an idiot. He's just overall an idiot. I thought Chiesa was in the champ. I don't think he is. I think, unless obviously they can change it before. Unless they can change it. Oh, you can change it. I didn't think you could change it unless it's been changed recently. I didn't think you could change it until the knockout stages. It says UEFA have approved a request to add the Italian to the Reds A list in line with new regulation. It's a new regulation. That's why I thought it wouldn't happen. Because of Leone's injury. Yeah, because of Leone's injury. So, yeah, apologise. You were right. You were right before. He has been added, but for whatever reason, he's not part of our 21-man squad, and I don't understand necessarily why. But at the same time, yeah, I didn't think that was possible, but it seems like a new regulation. We've requested to change it. So Chiesa is in, and obviously he's replacing Leone. So I didn't think that was happening. I didn't think you could do that until the knockout stages. I was right. I do apologize. I hold my hands up. It's my bad. Yeah, great save from Kelleher. The striker should take the penalty, no brainer, and if he misses, the striker should take it again next time, in my opinion. Some of the best penalty takers have been midfielders, though. Lampard used to take them for Chelsea. Gerrard, of course, took them for Liverpool. So, you know, I understand why you'd argue the striker, the man that's paid to score the goals, should be taking them, but sometimes it can just be the captain or at least a decent attacking player. I say Salah takes them for us. Bukayo Saka takes them for Arsenal. think partially on those two accounts is to try and get their GA up, but still, penalty is a goal. A penalty goal is a penalty goal. Sesko would have buried that. Maybe not. Second one that Bruno's. I meant this season. I don't think he's missed 5 already this season. I just mean this season. Bear with me 1 second, bro. I expect Arsenal to drop points in the upcoming Premier League matches. We've just been going through them. The only one that I can really see them dropping points in is Crystal Palace. Fulham, you can maybe give an argument, say that Fulham might give them a tough game. But yeah, Palace should be difficult. Or Palace are either going to play well against us but roll over for Arsenal. So, whichever. Bruno penalty scored 39, missed 6, conversion rate 86.6%. Not bad actually. Yeah, it's not terrible. It's definitely not terrible. Like I say, the only reason why I said missed 2 is because I was talking about this season. I'm pretty sure he's missed 1 earlier on. He missed against Fulham, didn't he? He missed against Fulham now that I've thought about it. So yeah, that was the only reason why I said missed 2. Kelleher would defend until Sesko took that penalty. Kelleher is the best at penalties, in my opinion. He's definitely helped Liverpool out a lot over the years in penalties. Penalty shootout wins, Carabao Cup finals. He has definitely helped Liverpool out a great deal over the years. Some goalkeepers just have a knack for saving penalties. Look at Gigi Donnarumma, for example. Donnarumma, now I know he's helped by the fact that he's a frigging giant. But at the same time, he is a very, very good penalty stopper, no matter what. So, yeah, fair play to him. Guys, remember to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new. Both things will always and forever be greatly appreciated. We're going to go for a little bit longer, another 10, 15 minutes or so, but then I have to really wrap things up. So so we'll go for that long, but I appreciate each and every single one of you being here. Lewandowski penalty stats, total penalties taken at 98, total penalties scored 88, career conversion rate, career conversion rate, approximately 90%. Yeah, very, very good. See, with things like that, I look at someone like Matt Letizia. Matt Letizia scored 48 out of 49 penalties or something like that. And I just wonder if he stays awake at night, wondering about that one that he missed. Could have had 100% conversion rate from the penalty spot, but there's just one that he missed. I wonder if that keeps him up at night. Still live, fair enough. Big up to you, Red Rain. Yeah, we're going to go for a little bit longer. But yeah, we've got to go soon. So go for another few minutes or so. Since Bruno stopped with the weird Jorginho-esque walk up, he started missing penalties. So I don't think you could do that anymore. I don't think that you could do that anymore. I thought it was I thought that was somewhat banned, that kind of run up, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm wrong indeed. But yeah, big week ahead in terms of football. Champions League, Premier League, all of that good stuff. I can't wait. Nervous, but I can't wait. Oh, yeah. Kane has a great conversion rate, except the one he skied World Cup against France. I'm sure that Loris Karius also saved the penalty against him as well. I'm pretty sure that Loris Karius saved the penalty against Harry Kane as well. But yeah, he's again he's got a decent conversion rate as well. Harry Kane is a very good penalty taker for the most part. This one. It says that I really hope Mamashvili will be a great goalkeeper for us. He is as tall as Donnarumma, and I hope he will be even better than Donnarumma. Fingers crossed, bro. I mean, like I say, he's definitely built up a very good reputation for Georgia. Built up a very good reputation in Spain. I don't doubt he's going to be a good goalkeeper. I don't doubt it. I think he will be. I think what you'll see is as the season progresses, you'll see him be bled into that goalkeeping role more and more frequently. I think what you'll see is that's what I'm looking for. Let me put it another way. I think what we'll see this season is Mamashvili slowly become more of the number one choice as the season goes on. I think we're starting off the season with Alisson, and I think we're going to see obviously how it goes with the league. But I think what we're going to see is more and more of Mamashvili becoming the number one choice. Bleed him in, get him to grips with the Premier League, get him to grips with the physicality element of the Premier League, how to deal from set pieces and all of that stuff. And then I think we are going to pull the trigger on him becoming the number one goalkeeper. Pretty sure that is how we're going to be doing things. But yeah, I'm sure Mamashvili will be fine. Atletico Madrid bodied Real Madrid 5-2. Surprised. Considering that nobody gave us credit when we beat Atletico a few weeks ago, everyone was saying, oh, it's an Atletico side who haven't been doing well this season. Oh, it's an Atletico side who have got many injuries. And then they go and batter Real Madrid 5-2. Probably would sound a little bit surprised, but it's not great for Xabi Alonso that in his first Madrid derby, he gets humiliated like that. That's not ideal. That is not ideal for Alonso or Real Madrid. But a very good result for Barcelona. Is it true that Sporting could have been 5-0 up at half-time? Oh, sorry. When you said CP, I was like, Sporting CP. Like, what? What am I on about? Is it true that Crystal Palace could have been 5-0 up at half-time? Or are people exaggerating? I could not watch. They're not exaggerating, bro. It really could have been 4 or 5-0. It really could have been. Like, we had one chance from Ryan Gravenberch, which forced a very good save from the goalkeeper. But other than that, it was all Crystal Palace. Like, the argument you can have for the goal is that it shouldn't have been a corner that led to it. Like, it should have been a goal kick. And obviously from that goal kick, Palace wouldn't... Likely is Palace wouldn't have scored from that goal kick that we should have had. But I'm not making excuses. We were poor. We should have defended the corner better. But if it wasn't for Alisson Becker saving from Mateta got through one-on-one on a couple of occasions. They hit the post on a couple of occasions as well. It really, really could have been 4 or 5-0. It really could have. Had it not been for the post and had it not been for how good of a goalkeeper Alisson Becker is, it could have been 4 or 5-0. What is Karius up to nowadays? He's back in Germany, isn't he? Last time I heard, he was at Newcastle, but I think he's gone back to Germany. Yeah, he plays for Schalke now. He plays for Schalke in the second division of German football. So it's a shame. It's a shame what happened, but yeah, these things do happen. Wolves are like prime Brazil against Spurs. Spurs just can't make their home stadium a fortress. Opening 15-20 minutes or so, Spurs were fine. It was after that point where they basically ran out of ideas. It's not like they're playing terribly, Spurs. It's not like they're playing terribly. They're still getting some good moments in games, and they're still, creating some good opportunities. But it's just about taking them. They just don't take their chances when they come to them. But I think it will start clicking eventually for Thomas Frank. I think he's a very good manager, and I think overall he's got not an amazing squad, but a decent enough squad, I think, for him to work with. Eddie Nketiah of all people, I said this. Of all people to have scored that goal for Crystal Palace, of all people that it could have been Adam Wharton, who was absolutely unbelievable, by the way. That's why I wax lyrical so much about Adam Wharton and how good he is, because he is just that damn good. Adam Wharton is amazing. Could have been Adam Wharton. It could have been, again, as I mentioned previously, Ismail Assar. It could have been Jeremy Pino. It could have been Mateta. It could have been absolutely anybody to have got the second goal on the day. And yet, it was Eddie Nketiah, who is going to probably now do nothing for the rest of the season. Probably will do nothing for the rest of the season, Eddie Nketiah now. But it is what it is. Villa won, but looked shocking. Emery never puts out a full best 11. They might do good in Europe, but I don't see them finishing high in the league. They could do a bit of a Tottenham. They could actually do a bit of a Tottenham, I think. I think they could go on to... I think they could go on to have a bit of a Tottenham season, maybe do poor in the league, but maybe do well in the Champions League. Europa League. Europa League is what it is. Bye, Maria. I love you. I hope Verts and Isak give assists against Galatasaray and we meet in another live broadcast. I'm going to play soccer right now by You Will Never Walk Alone. Big up to you, my bro. Thank you for stopping by with us here today. Really do appreciate you being here, my friend. And fingers crossed on your predictions for Verts and Isak to be on the score sheet or get assists against Galatasaray tomorrow. Good luck with your football right now. Hope it all goes well for you, my bro. And like I say, I hope to see you again in another live stream for you, my bro. Really do appreciate you being here. Marco asks, why is Visser not playing for Newcastle yet? I think he's injured. I think he got injured on international duty during the first or second game that his country played in. And I think he got injured. And that's why he hasn't been seen in a Newcastle shirt since. Look, people, we're going to end it there. But thank you all so much for joining me here today on this Monday afternoon. Big up to each and every single one of you. Make sure to hit the like button and subscribe if you are new before you go. Really do appreciate it. Really do appreciate the love and support on the channel. It means a great deal to me. So thank you. Make sure to drop your thoughts, comments, opinions, predictions, feelings, whatever you want to call it, in what will now be the chat down below. whether it's any of the stuff that we talked about in this video, or whether it's stuff that you want to talk about for future videos or future live streams to come, do drop it down there. Would love to hear from you all on what you have to say about anything football related or anything else. It really does mean the world to me, like I say, and I cannot thank you enough for doing all of those kind of supporting roles on this channel. Otherwise, I've been Fletch. This has been another Fletch Talks video. Thank you to each and every single one of you, and I will see and speak with you all again soon in another video or live stream or whatever it may be. Cheers, guys. Thanks for watching. Take care. Enjoy the rest of your day, and I'll speak to you all again very, very soon.